Okay, so this is a bit of a follow on from the the reclaimed door video that I put on. This is the latch that I mentioned in that video. So this came with the door, just as it is. Obviously it had 2 screws to hold it into the door. So I've got no handle or anything like that for it. But it doesn't matter because we're going to reuse our original sort of Bakelite handles that we've got. And they fit this part fine. So that'll be the actual latch like that, which hits the striker plate and obviously closes the door. Now it's also got this, because I think it came off a bath. I think that door was originally a bathroom door or something like that anyway, because it's got a mortise lock on it, which you just turn with this, like with this particular part there. The problem I had is obviously this would have had a handle set, so it's probably part of a kit, to be fair, that would have had everything you need, the bars, the latch, all of it. So I'm kind of making this as I go along. So what I've done is I've taken a bolt, a round-headed bolt, and I've basically filed it square so that it fits through the actual there. So this is going to be my bar, and that allows me then to open and close the lock. The next thing I'm going to do is, I've done some tests already or made some little sort of mock-ups, is I need to make the rest of it. So I need to make a couple of little circles and what have you that go on the door so that it looks nice. The other thing I've got to do as well is put a groove down there and polish it up so that it can be opened from both sides. So if there was an emergency in your bathroom, which you hope there wouldn't be, but you never know, you'd be able to open it from the outside if you needed to. A bit like the ones you see on sort of public toilets where they've got a lock when you go into the cubicle, but if you look on the other side, they've always got some way of opening that if they need to. So the idea here is the bar will go there, this will sit in the door obviously, and I'll have these little wooden circles which will make it look nice, and then I'll make I don't know, just something out of wood, probably a little handle type contraption-y thing. The other thing I've done with the bar is you might just about be able to see it, is drilled a hole out and I've tapped this out to 3mm. So I'm going to use a little cap head screw to hold the thumb turn onto the bar, because obviously you don't want to lock it and take it on and it's come off in your hand sort of thing. So I'm going to change some of these because I'm not quite happy with these. I don't think they're quite deep enough, and also they're a little bit bigger. I wanted it a much more sort of flush fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these on the lathe, or some new ones rather, that are a little bit deeper here, so they're a little bit deeper this way and not quite so wide, so the diameter is a little bit less. I'm toying with the idea of putting a washer in as well, so that obviously with repeated use it doesn't wear the wood down. So, and that's another reason for making that little recess a bit deeper. So I'm going to do that on my lathe, which is a handy thing about having a lathe. And what I'm going to use is my bits of wood, is this, which is a bit of old hardwood door really, and that's it. So I'm just going to recycle this. So I'm going to make a couple of new ones of these on the lathe, and then a little thumb turn, and hopefully it will be done. Right then, I'll best get on with that. Right, so I've got my little bit of door, or old door, on the lathe. I've turned it round. I've just sat it on my chuck. First thing I'm going to do is use a Forstner bit to make the recess, to make this recess there. And this is just about the right size as it turns out, this Forstner bit. So we'll give that a bash and see what happens. Then what I've got to do is drill a hole through it so that the bar can go through, obviously. So I'll get on with that. So first things first, I need to put my Forstner bit in my chuck. Okay, so that's done. That's a much better fit for this. So now all I'm going to do basically is drill another hole through the centre, and this is a 10mm wood bit. That'll make the hole for the bar to go through, and then I can just cut them off the lathe. I might put a little bit of a shape to them, I don't know yet. Okay, that should work well. Let's take that and get it out of the way. So I've marked it out to about 15mm, which is thicker than these ones obviously, but I'm going to turn this face down a little bit and as I said, try and make a shape, make it look a little bit nicer, I guess. Okay, that should do the job. Now I'll just get that off the lathe and sand the back and then make another one, and that'll be both sides done. Then I can get on and make the little handle, the little thumb turn that's going to go on the back of that. So same process again. Just bore this out with the Forstner bit to a depth that I want. Roughly looking at it about 5mm. I've already got a hole through the centre that I drilled with the wood bit, and that's it. So nearly done, at least for this bit anyway. Okay, so there's my two, I don't know, caps I guess you call them. This one I just need to sand on the back a bit, and there we go. They're slightly different sizes, because I thought what I would do is I would have one side different to the other. So this side will probably go on the bathroom side, and this will have the little thumb turn in it, which I'm going to make in a second. So now all I'm going to do is just sand the back of that up. I'm not worried about waxing or anything like that at the moment, because these will get fixed to the door. Probably with just a couple of little pins and maybe some glue, or failing that I will actually drill holes, and we'll use tiny little screws, maybe little brass ones or something like that, to fix it to the door so that they can be taken off again. I don't know yet, I'm still working on that one. I mean, if I drill holes in and put two little screws in, it will kind of mirror the shape and the style of the door handles that are going on as well, the Bakelite ones, so I will probably do that. But it's a case of whether I've got any small screws small enough for there, because it's not a great deal of wood to work with, especially when you need to countersink it. So maybe 12 millimeters, just over a centimetre. So yeah, I'll think about that one. Anyway, I'll get this sanded up on the back there, and that's them two done. Then I just need to make the thumb turn. So right, I'll get on with that then. Okay, so now I've got to think about the bar and how that goes in, and I'm going to probably, if I've got some, turn a hole in here and put a piece of maybe copper tubing or something like that in, just to reinforce the hole, because of the constant motion of it being turned, although we don't use the bathroom that much I guess, will eventually it'll distort the wood, and we don't want that. So now I've got to figure out something to do with that, and like I said, I'll probably use a small piece of copper tube, but I'll see. Right, better get on with that then. Right, so there's a small piece of copper tube. This is actually tubing for gas fires, which I bought years ago, which I've had lying around, and I use it for various things. It's a bit bigger than I would have liked, but I think it'll serve the same, or the purpose that I want it for anyway. It'll be fine for that, especially if I glue it in place in the actual thumb turn. I think that'll be fine. Just adds a little bit of extra strength to it. I don't need all that because it's not going to be that long, but I'll cut it to length once I've made the thumb turn, which is what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to start by making the hole for the copper tubing, and obviously I don't want that too big, so I just want to drill a bit. Give this a try, see what happens. Yeah, I think that'll do fine. So I've marked on here roughly how big everything's going to be. I can always cut a little bit off the end of the bar, which I might do anyway. I might just cut sort of maybe 5-10 mil off there, so the bar's about that long. Yeah. So I'll make this hole a little bit deeper, and then I can start maybe adding some kind of shape to this bit of wood. So that should be plenty deep enough now. Excellent. That is actually quite a tight fitting now. Once it's held in with a bit of glue, that'll be fine. Right, okay, let's think of some kind of shape now. Which one I want? Which one I use this one? I'll just mark it so I know which side of the door it's got to go. So yeah, it's going to sit in there like that. At least that's the plan. I'll take a little bit off here in a minute once it's nice and once I've turned a bit more of a shape into it, I think. So there's the little thumb turn, fits nicely in the little plate, perhaps a bit tight, but once there's a bit of wax and stuff on there, it'll be fine. I'm just going to put it in the lathe really carefully, just so I can sand this bit, make it a bit smoother. Okay, so there's my two plates for either side of my latch, and there's the little thumb turn. Now all I've got to do is work out how it all goes together, which is going to be a bit of a trial and error process, I feel. Anyway, but I think it'll work. So there we go. Yeah, quite happy with that. Once it's all waxed up, and maybe I'll give that a bit more of a sand, should be fine. Now I just need to make sure that I can get the screw hole through here where I need it. Like I said, I'm probably going to have to cut a piece of the bar off, and then we'll go from there. Okay, on to the next step then. Okay, so after a little bit of messing about, I've finally completed the whole thing for the latch. So there's one plate, and I've drilled and countersunk some holes here for some little screws to go into. Just some little black screws. I'll go in there nicely, and that'll fix it to the door. So there's both my plates, and this one is for the bathroom side of the door. This one is for the outside of the door, although it doesn't matter, they're interchangeable. Here's the little turn, the little thumb turn that I've made, and inside there is a little piece of copper pipe. You can just about make it out, I guess. And then I've got a little a small cap head screw that uses a 3mm thread, which holds the knob, the little thumb turn, onto my bar, which I've cut a groove into just there, and I've given it a bit of a polish so it looks nicer. So the idea is that if for some bizarre reason you can't open the door from when you're in, when you're in the bathroom, you can get a, oh, forget the right screwdriver, get a flathead screwdriver and just open it like that, or a coin, or anything really, the edge of something sharp, like I don't know, a knife. I mean, I've got like a little clip thing here, let that fit in there, I'll do it. So yeah, so the idea there is that it goes in there, goes through the door, and the little thumb turn goes on there, and that's it. That's the whole kit, if you like. Oh, and the 4 little screws that go with it. I did change a few things. I wasn't happy with the amount of play in the bar. The bar, when you put it in the door, it was wobbling a bit too much, and that was the old one. So I made another one that's slightly thicker, not much thicker, but slightly thicker. So there it is. So now I'll go and put it on the door, fix it to the door, and that'll be that. So that's what I've been up to with that. And now I've made this, I can actually get around and do the job I was supposed to be doing, which is hang the door in the first place. So there you go. That's it. I also drilled a secondary hole in there so that you can adjust the thumb turn. But that's it. So all in all, it cost me nothing. It took longer than I thought, which is usually the way with these ideas that I have. But it's cost me nothing. The wood is a piece of an old door frame, as is the thumb turn. These 4 screws I've had in my random collection of screws. That was just a cap-headed bolt, and the little cap head screws I had because I use a lot of them in other things, and that's it. Right, I'll go and put it on the door and we can see if it works properly, and that'll be that. Okay, so here it is on the door. This is obviously the outside of the door, and I've put some little screws in, countersunk it and fixed the plate on there, and the same on that side. And it's fairly simple to operate. You just turn the little handle, and this means if something goes wrong this side, you can still undo it by putting a coin or a blade of a knife in there. There we go. Alright then. Better get on and hang the door now. Okay, thanks for watching.